When reading the stories about Adam in the Quran, I was shocked to realize that Muhammad believed that Adam was thrown down from a heavenly paradise to earth, instead of the original version in the Bible, wherein he was thrown out of a paradise on earth. How was it possible that Gabriel, if he were the angel of God, could have misled Muhammad so disastrously and falsely? Is there an explanation?
As usual with Muhammad Quran's version of the stories that he plagiarized from the Bible, the one about that of the creation leading to Adam's fall is devoid of any background in time or space, and is utterly insipid, unlike the vivid and captivating original in the Bible. Genesis 2.7. Then the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. And the Lord God planted a garden eastwards in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. And out of the ground made the Lord God to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food, the tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And the Lord God took the man and put him into the garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. And the Lord God commanded the man, saying, Of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat, but of the tree of knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it, for in the day that thou eatest thereof thou shalt surely die. Genesis 3.1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, hath God said, You shall not eat of any tree of the garden? And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that was a delight to the eyes, and that the tree was to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat. And she gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. And unto Adam God said, Because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree, of which I commanded thee, saying, Thou shalt not eat of it, cursed is the ground for thy sake. In toil shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread, till thou return unto the ground. For out of it wast thou taken, for dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return. Therefore the Lord God sent him forth from the garden of Eden, to till the ground from whence he was taken. So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the garden of Eden the cherubim, and the flaming sword, which turned every way, to keep the way to the tree of life. It is obvious that God evicted Adam and his wife out of the Garden of Eden on earth to toil, suffer and sweat to earn their livelihood. Amongst Muhammadan writers, the fall is called Dhallatu Adam, or the slip of Adam. The term Dhalla, or slip, or error, being applied to prophets, but not Dhanb, which is sin, since Muhammadan Islam has the dogma that the prophets do not commit sin, hence instantly exonerating all of Muhammad's evil deeds. The following is the account of Adam's slip as given in the Quran. Surah Al-Baqarah 2.35. And we said, O Adam, dwell thee and thy wife in the garden, Jannah, and eat ye plentifully there from wherever ye list. But to this tree come not nigh, lest you become of the transgressors. But Satan made them slip, فَأَضَلَّهُمَّ, from it, and caused their banishment from the place in which they were. And we said, Get ye down, أهبطوا. Surah Al-A'raf 7.19. And O Adam, dwell thou and thy wife in paradise, Jannah, and eat ye whence ye will. But to this tree approach not, lest you become of the unjust doers. So Satan beguiled them by deceits, and when they had tasted of the tree, their nakedness appeared to them. And they began to sew together upon themselves the leaves of the garden. And their Lord called to them, Did I not forbid you this tree? And did I not say to you, Verily, Satan is your declared enemy? He said, Get ye down, أهبطوا, the one of you an enemy to the other, and on earth shall be your dwelling, and your provision for a season. He said, On it shall you live, and on it shall ye die, and from it shall ye be taken forth. Our listeners should be aware of the following Quranic falsehoods when compared to the original biblical version. 1. Satan is never mentioned in Genesis, nor in the whole of the Torah. 2. It was the serpent and not Satan that tempted Eve. 3. The serpent beguiled only Eve, and not both Adam and Eve. 4. God in the Bible ordered them out of the Garden of Eden on earth and not told them to jump down from paradise to earth. 5. God of the Bible did not warn either Adam or Eve of the serpent's enmity beforehand. Taha 20.115. And of old we made a covenant with Adam, but he forgot it, and we found no firmness of purpose in him. But Satan whispered to him, said he, O Adam, shall I show thee the tree of eternity, Shajarati al-Khuldi? For those who do not know, the serpent tempted Eve with the fruit of the tree of knowledge, and not Adam with the tree of life, eternity. And they both ate thereof, and their nakedness appeared to them, and they began to sow the leaves of the garden, Jannah, to cover them. And Adam disobeyed his Lord and went astray. He said, Get ye down, ahbita, both of you, all together, from the garden with enmity one to another. As usual, the Quranic version of the biblical story is totally at variance with the original. Further, errors and falsehoods are repeated, and so we repeat our objections accordingly. 1. The serpent tempted Eve, not Adam. 2. The serpent tempted Eve about the tree of knowledge and not the tree of life or eternity. 3. God evicted them from the Garden of Eden on earth and did not drop them from it to earth. We would like to share with our listeners the following lines of reasoning. Since the Bible is described in the Quran as the word of Allah and was revealed to Moses directly without any intermediaries, then how is it possible that the Quran's version, which is also allegedly revealed by Allah, is utterly different and contradictory to it if Muhammad's Allah is the same as the God of Israel? The Muhammadan commentators are much perplexed as to the scene of the fall of Adam. In the Bible, Adam and Eve were cast out from the Garden of Eden on earth. They were not thrown down from anywhere, heaven to earth. After all, the 4 rivers that encompass the Garden of Eden are earthly rivers such as the Euphrates and Tigris. From the text of the Quran, it is very clear that the paradise spoken of and envisioned is in heaven and not on earth. To substantiate this, there is a Muhammadan Muslim tradition that when Adam was cast down, he fell on the island of Ceylon, would support this view. Ali ibn Babway al-Qummi was a Shia scholar who records the opinion that Eden was not on earth but in heaven. After having disobeyed Allah, Allah sends Adam and Eve to earth, arriving first at 2 holy pagan mountain peaks outside Mecca, Adam on Safa and Eve on Marwa. Al-Bayzawi maintains that the Garden of Eden was in the heavens and that the fall occurred before Adam and Eve inhabited this earth of ours. At the very beginning of our series, we mentioned that we are putting Muhammad and his Quran on trial and that you will be the jury. So ladies and gentlemen of the jury, even though we do put our own conclusions forth for each chapter, for all to hear, as required by trial rules, nonetheless, in the final analysis, it is up to you to make your own minds up. Once again, we leave it to you, our listeners, to make your own intelligent conclusions, based upon all the facts that we have provided to you from the biblical and Muhammadan sources, if it is at all logical and moral, that any omniscient divinity would provide 2 or more contradictory versions of the same events.